I was listening to this African thinker, and he said that the story of the Tower of Babel was an analogy of civilization. He didn't continue with his thought, but that intrigued me because, in my opinion, people of the same worldview come together. They have something in common, and they come together and they start building this thing called civilization. You could say, like a tower, From far away, other peoples see this beautiful tower and they're like, "Ooh, that's beautiful. I would like to join. I would like to experience it." So, if allowed, other peoples will join. Some of them will integrate and continue with the project, but there's going to be also others that won't integrate. They still have a different worldview that they bring with them, and they refuse to integrate, they refuse to continue with the project. So eventually, confusion happens. People don't understand each other anymore. One pulls one direction, the other pulls in a different direction, and the tower eventually collapses. And that's the part that they said the divinity came from the skies and switched their languages. And total confusion was seeded. People didn't understand each other anymore. And I think that's the analogy. That's when people from different worldviews come together, they just don't understand each other. There's conflicts of worldviews. And the tower collapses. I kind of see it like that. When civilization reaches a certain level of dignity, a certain level of sophistication, and you can see that the way they treat the elderly, the way they treat the sick, the handicapped, the way they treat children, the way they treat adults, you can see that it's not how much power they have or how much money they have or how much trinkets they have or toys or no, that's irrelevant. How you would see the levels of sophistication is how they treat each other. In my opinion, right? You know, there's people that think the internet is gossip. Yeah, for the most part, is gossip, and the internet is poisoning the well, so to speak. It's true. It's poisoning the well. I always saw the internet as a tool. You can use it, but never give it too much importance. You can use it to share information, to share files, to share, mm, excuse me, to share your thoughts, to share your worldview, um, all in the bounds of free speech, of course, uh, but never meant to be taken literally or not to be taken seriously. You see it, but you don't listen to it. It's like being in a movie. You sit down, you watch the movie, you get emotional, because that's why you're there for, to get your emotions, triggered. And then you leave, you return to the real world. right? The internet ought to be the same thing. You go and you do what you have to do, whatever it is, and then you return to the real world. But people are not doing that. They are mistaking the internet for the real world. And this is having, in my opinion, um, catastrophic results. Civilization is collapsing. Of course, now they have a new way of dealing with this. They want everybody to be fully identifiable. I mean, if I was the one who came up with the internet, right? If I was the inventor and wanted to put it out there, yeah, that would be a requirement. To me, I'm sorry, but yeah, it would be a requirement. Who are you? Where you live? Those things. What's the purpose? Why are you using this? And all in the bounds of free speech and dignity, you could use it, right? But they are some generations late to the party. Why? Because, like any entrepreneur or capitalist or whatever, they had a product and they needed that product to become popular. So, in order to make it popular, they had to seduce the population. And the product itself, if it could be addictive, even better, you know. So people use the internet like a fix. They are plugged. The other day I was walking the dog and there was like 5 or 6 kids waiting for the bus, and they were all glued to the screen. Nobody was talking or playing or pulling each other's hairs, and everybody was so serious, so, like robots. And I was like, man, in my time, we were playing and pushing, and, you know, these kids are like zombies. But anyway, uh, I think they are a bit late to the party, trying to demand identification to the users. Anyway, I use the internet to educate myself, which, you kind of have to use your intuition because there's so much bullshit. Eventually, I landed on Platonism, you know, that's where I landed. All in all, Platonism, Pythagoreanism, Arivedanta, and that sort of thing. But that's me, right? Because everybody's got a piece of the truth, you know. It depends on the percentage. Everybody has a piece of the truth, a shard. Sometimes it's 1%. Sometimes it's up to 60%. I think the truth is not concentrated in one place. The truth is scattered, like gold is scattered through around the world, you know. It's just scattered. I think I have found people who are quite wise and are, closest to the truth, like 60%. But that's an anomaly. That's like 0.0001%. In my opinion, that is 60% closest to the truth. The rest of the world is below, it's 50%. You know, the truth is scattered. And I noticed that to educate yourself, I think, because, Platonism, Neoplatonism, Arivedanta, and that sort of thing, it's not about It's not about belief, it's about exercising the mind. It's about exercising. It kind of pushes you to think critically. Anyway, my favorite psychoanalyst has classical education. They said, I was lucky enough to be influenced by Plato and other philosophers of ancient Rome, Syrianus, etc., Plotinus, um, and it radically changes your worldview. Um, I don't think it's healthy for people to stay glued to the devices. I don't think it's healthy at all. It's almost like an experiment is being made. But again, I see these things like drugs, and they are pushed because they are highly addictive. And in the beginning, you were the product. They wanted to get you used to the product, and at some point, they are going to demand money of you if you want to use the product. It's going to arrive at that point. You know, if they pass the what's it called, the digital thing that you have to identify yourself, you want to use, they will then, after that will come taxing, charging. After that it will become charging, you know because in the beginning they wanted to get you addicted. Now that you are addicted, they will demand identification, and then they will start charging you to pay for the addiction. At the same time, they were mining, robbing, what is your likes and dislikes, and selling that information to the publicity companies, etc. As the technology moved, which is totally harmful for the human body, but they don't care. The technology from the computer screen now is on your cell phone, and even in your car. There's people nowadays driving and listening to ads. It's funny that a car nowadays is like 50%. If you want the rest, you have to buy the updates, and it's downloadable and stuff like that. It's crazy. The the um, you know the, the publicity companies are in your car now. It's crazy. If you want to turn the key, you have to listen to two ads. you know it's crazy. Or if you want to drive this car, you're gonna have to listen to our beautiful minister message. And the minister goes, hey, blah 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 blah, this is how it's gonna be, vote for me, otherwise I will shut off your car. Shut up. It's gonna it doesn't make any sense. It's a slippery slope. Anyway, I think I'm gonna shut up. Tell me what you guys think. Have a nice day.